Good morning. I'm MJ from Linus Publications, and this morning we're going to be looking at Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison is the leader of Oracle, which is a large database company, and they are being pulled into this deal that Trump is arranging with TikTok. And it's not exactly clear what the deal involves at this point, but it appears that the TikTok algorithm and the information will be stored in an Oracle Cloud database. But again, we're not quite sure. Deal is not set, not very many details associated with it. But I thought it was important that we talk about Larry Ellison and look at what's going on in his chart, where it relates to his overall leadership of Oracle, which will be involved in this. Now, in this case, when I first looked at his chart, it didn't seem like there was enough to actually move ahead on this. But he actually has quite a few progressions and solar arc directions. And there are transits, but it turns out that I needed to go out a little bit further, out till April of next year, to actually get a better idea of what was occurring here. So let's start. Our first one is a solar arc direction. And this is Uranus squaring fate. And this is on 10/11 of this year. In this case, this is disruption. So this is likely looking at this initial thing with TikTok and the deal with getting Oracle into it. So its direction is, disruption. It is possibly rebranding. It is some innovation, but it's a difficult renovation because it's square. So it's things you can work out, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and literally possibly making mistakes and reevaluating what you're doing. So it's not just a quick ability to get it done. It means repeated times to work through all the issues. Now, the next thing we have is a progression on 11/18. And this is Mercury squaring the sun. In this case, Mercury is what? Communications. The sun is his identity. And a progression means that Mercury has evolved to now where it is no longer in line with his identity, which means he has to bring, in effect, new communications into his identity. What are the new communications? Well, it all has to do with this new company, TikTok. So it's a new way of, or a new product, in effect, that might be coming under his wing. So there's a lot of thought that needs to be put into that. It's not a database. So in effect, this is something he will need to deal with. It's a square, so again, it can be done. It just means possibly a lot of struggle to get there. Now, the next thing we have is another solar arc angle, and that's on 11/25. Here we have Jupiter squaring the sun. Jupiter is, in effect, the overinflation on his identity. So thinking too much. In this case, he's going to struggle to incorporate the drive for this expansion. So it's probably a struggle just to look at how this would be done. And granted, this is what corporations do all the time. CEOs, they look at how to incorporate additional companies or mergers into theirs, but some mergers don't work. So, and again, they want to incorporate it with integrity. So following where Oracle's mission is. Next thing we have is a transit, and this is on 12/20. And this is a clue that we are actually probably making some progress. We've got Pluto trine fate. So this is a significant transit. So it means that he can have significant influence. He can actually have alliances that are destined. And it also means that this may have something to do with the legacy that he will be leaving. So this is an important step for him from the point of view of fate. On 12/26, he also has Pluto trining Neptune. This is Pluto control. Neptune is vision. So this will also have a big influence on his vision and, in effect, trying to integrate Pluto, the control, into what he sees for this new company. Now, when we move into 123, we have a solar arc angle, which is starting to bring up some of the issues. This is a Mars opposing Uranus. What does this mean? At the simplest, it means problems trying to integrate. So we have Mars, opposition, meaning, in effect, people against this, barriers. So Mars is the ability to act, and in this case, Uranus on this new venture, this new innovation. So this is going to bring up volatility, possibly rebellion, definitely, some defiance, breakdowns. And I wonder whether this is a point where people will start to say, well, no, that deal wasn't written that way, or this is not what the deal said. So I get a sense here that one part of the party is saying, no, that's not what the deal is. So we're coming up with opposition on how this is going to be put into play. Not so much on the initial deal. I think that may have gone through, but this is on how it's going to be implemented. Now, when we move ahead to 3/8/27, we have 3 transits in a row here. We've got Saturn opposition Neptune. This is the teacher, in effect, saying, our revision is not working. Things are not working as we expected. In effect, the vision has outpaced what we can do in reality. So this is opposing Neptune in our vision. So we have to bring the vision back. So we have to reevaluate how this needs to be structured because it's not grounded in reality. Next thing on 3/10, we have Pluto in conjunct Jupiter. This is a tough one. So Pluto control over what? This expansion. And you can't get there from here. So that means the control of this is breaking down. So this likely means they're going to have to restructure to avoid some type of collapse. And this is an important one. It means that the integration of however this is being done is not working well. They don't have control over it. The next thing is even pretty much as significant, which is 3/26/27. This is also a transit. This is Saturn in conjunct Jupiter. So now it looks like the resources are not there for this expansion. And that's what Jupiter is, expansion. So the growth ambition actually has to be tempered down because there's structural limitations. So overconfidence. So it has to be tapered down. That along with that previous angle of the Pluto on Jupiter, now with the Saturn, means they have to relook at how this is going to be integrated. So could this mean impact this whole thing? Yes, definitely. When we look at 4/1, we have a solar angle, and this is Neptune squaring Mars. Again, Mars, ability to, act. Neptune, a big fog. Square, yeah, you can get there, but difficult. So confusion, and they lost the vision. There's a loss of clarity on where this needs to go. And that's coming right after these other transits. And again, being a solar arc direction, it means that the timing is not as clear. Now, the next 2 are transits, but they're more as a astrological milestone that happens to everyone at certain ages. One is Neptune opposing Neptune. And this is where someone pretty much looks at their legacy. They look at what they have accomplished. And at this point, they're usually about, 80-something years old, 80, 81. They're looking at what they accomplished in their lifetime, and they readjust what they think their legacy might be. We also have, on 4/12, Saturn square Saturn. This also happens every few years, and this is also an astrological milestone. So It ends up being a test of your visions. So this is a time when you come up to accountability, you come up to challenges, and it's also facing the mirror to see what you've accomplished. Now, these are just, in effect, astrological milestones, these last two, but the other ones aren't. So they probably have more to do with this TikTok. But the astrological milestones actually happening at this point lead me to believe that they will also be involved in this. So what seems to be the case here? Well, it does seem to be the case that possibly Oracle will be involved in TikTok, and they probably take on more than they can handle. And not to say more than they can handle indefinitely, but more than they can handle at that time. So they assume that they could do it a certain way, but they can't. They have to reevaluate, they have redesign, and a few other things. So this is not unexpected in the land of, mergers and other companies gobbling up other companies. So there's always pains when you try to bring in a company and sort of integrate it. This will definitely have pains. But there may also be some indication that China or the United States is saying, oh no, the deal wasn't worded that way, that it was worded a different way. So that could also come up. Now, I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day.